Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy. What's happening, buddy?
Von Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Get me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome into the locker room with Billy Schwein and Pete Thompson right here on 97.3 ESPN, streaming live on my YouTube channel today. The locker room, Billy Schwein, and my Facebook page, Billy Schwein. Check it out there. Good morning, PT.
Who are you?
Hey, PT.
I haven't seen you in forever. Who the heck are you, man?
I'll tell you what, Pete, man, no joke. That COVID's no joke, PT.
Yeah, it took you for a loop, huh? I was a little dark over here, so I'm using the Mike Gill. Look, see that? I'm dark, and then
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I thought I was a little.
Was that you? Did you just whistle like that? There you go.
You know, I can whistle three ways.
I can't. I can only whistle two.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's one, and then
I cannot do that.
That's two, and then I'm not going to do the third one because
that's the only one I know.
It'll blow people's car speakers.
That's right.
Yeah.
So PT, yeah, man, I was horizontal for about 15 days. Dude.
I mean, you thought it was just a bad cold, right? Yeah, it's sniffles.
Nah, I knew it coming down, like because my daughter had it on the 6th, and then 3 days later, I just knew it.
It was only a matter of time.
Yeah, and I went to get my test. I can't even believe I made it to get the test. You have to drive I drove to the facility to get the test, and I just couldn't believe I even made it. You guys, I really appreciate you guys.
Oh, you're welcome.
You and Mike did a great job.
That's what we do, man.
I noticed. I said this to Brad yesterday. Brad Cost and Pete and Josh, that you guys, when I'm not around, man, you guys get away from my police music.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, how about that, huh?
Stuart Copeland and
Gordon
Sumner and Andy Summers. That's the third, right?
Yeah, that's
Is there a fourth?
No, that's it.
That's it. It's just three guys.
Yeah.
Listen, no disrespect, but the cat's away. The mice will play a little.
The mice did play, and you played real well. And PT, I got to tell you, man, the Eagles, watching the game on the couch, feeling sick.
On my birthday, by the way.
And by the way, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. 51 now.
51 and young and 51.
Sure. Listen, I got to tell you, I feel better at 51 than I did at probably 47, 48, 49. I lost some weight. I've been working out. Went to my trainer on Wednesday. I'm doing all right, buddy. So.
All right, so we're back in the saddle. We're moving forward. We're reunited, and it feels so good.
Peaches and herb.
Yeah, and PT, I got to tell you though. So while you're sick and you're I'm laying on the couch, getting ready to watch the Eagles game and trying to get excited, even though I felt horrible. I felt even worse after the game.
It was abysmal is how it went. I mean, listen, I got to tell you that there was the biggest thing, and I had an argument with my girlfriend's son about this too. I thought if they won the toss, the heck with deferring, get the ball and try to run the football, which is what the storyline was going in. Get in there, like long drives, keep Brady off the field.
Give Tom Brady the ball first.
I did not agree with that. I still don't agree with that. Now, odds say, and the tendency would be that they were so poor that they probably would have gone out, had a 3-and-out, and then he would have gotten the ball anyway, and you've cost yourself that competitive advantage of getting the ball to start the third quarter. But I mean, I thought that they should have taken the ball. That was the first thing that. So
before we get into our breaking down of our Eagles, and it's just like the aftermath of the season now.
Well, who do you root for?
Well, here's
the question.
But here's the thing, Pete. We got the Flyers to watch. They're horrible. Like, I know they got the NFL playoffs there, but we don't have a dog in a fight now, right?
That's
correct. Our dog's out. So you got to get excited about the Sixers and the Flyers. and the Flyers are god awful.
I mean, I had a guy
I
text.
can't even watch the games, Pete.
Let me read you this text that I got this morning from a good friend of mine who is a longtime Flyers fan as well. And he says,
Can't even watch the games.
He said he'd sent me a text and said, when will the Flyers realize they need to start over? And I said, well, hopefully this year. And then he said, we need to start over. This team is horrible. Do you know that I turned down free tickets?
Yes.
And I said, wow, unbelievable, right? He goes, second row. The last time I did go to a game, it was the Lightning game, and it was brutal. There was no fight in the team. And I texted him back and said, I remember that because Alain Vigneault got fired the next day.
Now, I remember the game that I went to. You were at the same game that I was at. It was against the Kraken. And that was and I heard you on the Sports Bash with Mike with PT and Happy Hour Friday.
Yes.
But PT, you hit the nail right on the head. That game had everything. It was. I had my daughter there. I got her a jersey. Right. There was some fighting going on. There was goal scoring. There was passion. That was fun hockey.
Yeah, and
we haven't seen a lick of it since.
No, wait. That was the second game of the season, by the way.
That's right.
The first game, remember, they played Vancouver to open up, and they unexpectedly rallied to tie the game and then lost in the shootout 5-4. But that Seattle game was their most complete game of the season. They won 6-1. It had like penalties and fights and goals. I mean, 6 goals. It had a fight. That game had everything.
It had everything, and that's what hockey is. Look. Pete, I know you are. I would like to consider us like we're old school, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a lot of people that are proponents, and Coachy's one of them. Let them fight and everything. And there's certain that element, you can't take that element out of the game. I know there's the millennials and the younger people, maybe not necessarily like the fighting that we were accustomed to growing up with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But guess what, Pete? If you can't beat him in the alley, you can't beat him on the ice.
That's 100% too. I understand that Gary Bettman's changed the game. You realize that now they've lost 11 in a row. 11 in
a row.
Their team record losing streak is a dozen, the dirty dozen. And it certainly looks like they could be in shape for that as things move forward here. I mean, it's really, and I think what's most frustrating to me is, what do they do? I mean, here's Giroux, who's come out with the quote, right now it feels like we've hit rock bottom. Right. They asked Ristolainen yesterday what happened on the 4th goal. Right. And he actually, this was his answer back. Which was the 4th goal again? Sorry. He says, it's too many goals they scored. I can't remember. In other words, like he can't even remember which goal they're talking about. That's how bad things are.
Here's the most nauseating thing. When you look at James Van Riemsdyk, what's a minus 20 here? What is he?
I don't know. You got the chart over there.
I got the chart here. Hold on.
This is called preparation.
I had it. I had it. Hold on. Van Riemsdyk is a minus 19.
Yeah, that's really bad.
And this, I mean, the whole team is like this Yandel. I mean, I've seen him just like literally lay down.
Now, did you not know about the streak? I mean, I said that to you before the show started, but
it's just, to me, it's like, I mean. Yeah, I know about the streak.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah, he's on the verge of trying to beat Doug Jarvis's streak.
Who cares?
Doug Jarvis played 964 straight games from 1975 to 1987. So that's what he's trying to do. And
so I got that empty feeling yesterday.
Okay.
Did you have an empty feeling when obviously you were busy with your school stuff?
I was doing my alt route training, but I had the Flyers game on television, right? No sound, but I just had it on, and every time I looked up, it seemed like there was a goal, So, I mean, every time I looked up, it looked like there was a goal. But when it was, what was it after? I think it was 1-0. The Flyers were actually up in the game.
They were up 2-1.
Right. But, but my point is they were up 2. That's it. They were up 2-1. Ristolainen scored, and then Giroux scored, and it was 2-1. And then Tage Thompson, no relation, right? That's my brother from another mother, had back-to-back goals to make it 3-2. And by the time they ended, I think that was Peyton Krebs's first ever goal,
right,
in the National Hockey League. 4-2 after 1. I didn't even bother to watch the second or the third period.
I just think
I can't remember the last time, Billy, that there's been a Flyers team that I just check out on, that I don't even tune in for.
So yesterday, I after the show, I scooted over to the Randazzo's. I had a nice lunch. Joe Pop, my man. By the way, Joe Pop's looking for a pizza man. Of course, the Randazzo family is a great family to work for. Give Joe Pop a call at 609-814-1600 down there. He's looking for a pizza man. experienced pizza maker.
Okay.
All right, and great compensation. Joe's a great guy to work for.
I just know how to eat the pizza.
Yeah,
I
got to tell you, I had a
it.
cheesesteak down there yesterday with fried onions, lettuce.
You would do this on a day where we're not going to lunch after the show.
But I'll tell you
not
what,
only are we not going to lunch after the show,
I have to get home. I have to take care of my 100-year-old mom.
I'm aware of that, but not only are we not going to lunch after the show, but the games don't start till
3.
So I mean, here we got a chance where we could have a nice leisurely lunch.
But I wanted to start off with the Flyers because it's just depressing. I want to get the depression out of the way. I mean, I love the football games were great.
Sure.
Last night. I watched the whole Tennessee Cincinnati game. I didn't miss a snap. And then I got to the Green Bay and 49ers game. And while I watched the first half intently, I kind of started fading a little bit there in the second half, and I was shocked. I got back to it and saw the 49ers kick the field goal at the end to win, and I was shocked at that outcome.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, and this surprised you today when I told you this. Aaron Rodgers has never beaten the Niners.
I was shocked to hear that
in the playoffs.
Shocked to hear
He's
that.
never beaten the Niners in the playoffs. It was an unbelievable game. The snow kept falling. People were cursing and moaning on social media about the Packers special teams because they had a special teams snafu. I saw a lot of things about, hey, it's 1/3 of the game. You got to keep that up. But yeah, listen, 7-0 after one quarter, 7-0 at the half.
Kind of a boring game. Boring. It just didn't keep me glued.
Right. I mean, it wasn't the shootout that we hope we're going to see today with the Rams and the Bucks at 3:00.
I do like the Lambeau mystique of
snowing
and everything, and the wind blowing, and you see the breath of the players and everything.
Oh, very much so.
But
they came back from break last night, like late in the fourth quarter, and people were just, I think it was like they were playing that House of Pain jump around song, and like the whole fans were just going nuts. I thought, like,
it's great.
Boy, you got to have a different mentality to go stand in 8
There's nothing like being in the stands when it's
just
snowing.
Love it. Oh yeah,
it's so much fun.
Were you at the Eagles-Lions game?
Yeah.
At that game?
No. Guess what?
Snow game?
No, I missed that
day?
one.
Yeah.
But I've been to I was at the Falcons game, the Bucks game when it was snowing, the championships games, and those games were cool too. I mean, it was just like, it was great. And by the way, yesterday we had our Sixers giveaway. We gave away a pair of tickets. Lawrence from Delaware won. So congratulations. I'll get the shirt.
Oh, that's nice.
Not only does he win 2 tickets to the game for Saturday night's game.
Eddie Money, 2 tickets to Paradise.
2 tickets to Paradise. Row 3 behind bench, courtesy of Pensauken Spine and Rehab. And then, of course, we gave him a pair of T-shirts so he goes in style.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Courtesy of Pro Image Sports and Fan Treasures.
That's awesome. Listen, you do get, listen, I give you a lot of grief, but you really come up with good prices.
Yeah, man, we got to keep the peeps happy, man.
Very much so.
All right, PT, guess what?
It's time.
The first hour of the locker room was powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional
music
settlement
to my ears, by
service.
the way.
Why is that?
Because I don't have to do them.
Settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, from the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. My Winter Watchdog. Have you heard of New Jersey Premier Vacant Home Management Service? My Winter Watchdog. You know those worrisome thoughts that creep into your mind every time you hear of a storm coming, and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house, hours of time on the road. Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869. Or send Debbie an email, debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, hey, by the way, great show lined up today. We're going to be talking with former Eagles linebacker and our co-host, Brad Quast, at the bottom of the hour. Then we'll do the fantasy football guru, Brian Hartley, at the 11 o'clock hour.
Sounds good to me, man. I like those guys.
We got PT in the house, Billy Schwein, the locker room, 97.3 ESPN.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN and
accessible for everyone, including free or low-cost screening programs. Go to CancerScreenQuiz.com now and take the American Cancer Society's 2-minute cancer screening quiz to find out what screening tests are right for you. Don't wait. Take the quiz. Get screened. Go to CancerScreenQuiz.com now. CancerScreenQuiz.com.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson. You know, Pete, one thing that I noticed about the Flyers. Now, you can't make excuses for injuries and whatnot, but it's the effort, man. It's like their heads aren't on swivels. It's like they're not not perceptive. They're not seeing the whole ice. They're not on the same page. But the effort. That's one thing that you can control in hockey is the effort.
I mean, 39 days it's been since they've won a game in regulation.
Is that unbelievable?
Mike Yeo calls it battle level. They're lacking battle level. That's what he says. Okay. And I mean, yes, they have a lot of injuries, right? Sean Couturier, Kevin Hayes, Ryan Ellis, Joel Farabee, Derek Brassard, Wade Allison, and then here's the hard part, Billy. Even the depth pieces are getting injured now. And as you sit there and you look, essentially who they dressed yesterday, they had like half NHL, half AHL, right? They had Allison, Jackson Cates, Max Willman, Jerry Mayhew, Zach McEwen, Morgan Frost. I mean, those guys aren't full NHL guys yet. So how are you going to compete when the other team has a full NHL roster and you kind of got the half?
And Pete, here's what's really compelling for me is the fact that we had Chuck Fletcher on this program right when he was making all these trades and making moves that everybody wanted him to make, right? Pull the trigger, got rid of Voracek, he brought in Atkinson, he brought Ellison, he brought these guys in.
Exactly.
How excited were we for the moves that he made? I mean, I was excited. I was excited for this season, and to be so let down. I mean, like I said, I know there's injuries, but you can't use that as an excuse. I never thought we'd be where we are right now.
Right. And that's, I think, the biggest frustration I see from the fan base, and the reason that they're not showing up is also that they feel like it's become too corporate, right? And that they don't, it's a bad product on the ice. We agree with that.
Absolutely.
Right? But they also, and Kevin Durso had a great article on 97.3 ESPN.com, and it talks about Flyers at halfway, 3 questions for the remainder of the season. And check out the article, but his question 3 on there is, what is Chuck Fletcher's future? And he writes that they need to find a direction they want to go in.
But it starts at the top. I mean, you had Ed Snyder leading the Flyers for so many years. I remember Snyder, when the Flyers were being embarrassed.
Yeah,
in the late
the
early 70s, late 60s.
Oh yeah, against the Blues.
And and he said we'll never be embarrassed like this again.
That's correct.
I feel like we're right there.
Well, yeah, I mean, now
we're not getting beat up like we were, but like we on the scoreboard we are.
I went to a game in that 06-07 season. And I was talking to you about this in the break. That's the year that they had Peter Forsberg, but he had a foot issue,
right?
And he couldn't keep his foot straight in the skate.
Right.
I went to one of the rare wins that season. They beat Detroit and beat them bad. They beat them like 5-1 at home. It was unbelievable, but they had the lowest points in the league total that year. And then they got screwed. Remember, they lost the lottery pick.
Yep.
They got pick number 2 when they were supposed to get pick number 1, and 1 was Patrick Kane. And you remember who 2 was? You said his name earlier in the show.
I can't.
James Van Riemsdyk.
Yeah.
That's who they picked. James
now,
Van
I
Riemsdyk.
wonder, Pete, is there anybody in this locker room, like when you look at a Yandel that's minus 22 and a Van Riemsdyk that's minus 19, is there anybody in the locker room that could just throw the gloves down and like throw somebody against the locker and say like Macho Row type stuff?
That doesn't happen anymore.
Why not?
I mean,
you think talking Berube, Mellenby, and all those guys pulling would allow that to happen?
I mean, before he got injured, they played a lot of that one clip where like Farabee came off the ice and destroyed his stick in the tunnel.
Right.
You remember seeing
that? And Hart did that. Carter Hart, remember that
over
the crossbar?
Sure. And I actually witnessed Carter Hart destroy his stick in person when I was in San Jose a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic. We were down in where the players come off the ice, and he was so pissed that they lost. I mean, I do like to see passion. Like all Philly sports fans want to see passion out of their players, but that's a big question too. Like, how far do they drop? And look, the playoffs are off the table now. I mean, there's no way there's almost no way mathematically they're trailing Boston by 16 points, for God's sakes. They're only ahead of, thank God for New Jersey, they're only 1 point ahead of them. They're last in points percentage in the division. There's so many things with 41 games left where there are shambles that, you got to, Durso does a great job.
And not only that, I also heard you guys talking about on Friday on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, happy hour Friday with the PT.
That's me.
You were talking about the crowd and how he took a picture. Somebody took a picture of the crowd.
Well, Durso did the other night. And
but here's the thing: but the crowd, but the stands haven't been full. And you hit the nail right on the head. You got people paying, and Scotty McKay was one of these guys where he gave up his tickets because he was paying what $150, $180, $200 for a seat, and then somebody buys a ticket on StubHub for $25 and sits right next to him.
Yeah, and that drives you crazy. It's like a slap in the face. It's total disrespect to the fan base that's paying high money and full money for, and
when you're playing that bad, when you're getting effort from Yandel, he's a minus 22, and you're sitting in a seat for $180, and somebody's sitting next to you for what, $25, $35, $45, that pisses you off, Pete.
Yeah, it absolutely drives you crazy. And at the end of the day, the biggest thing is the product on the ice, and the product on the ice is absolutely poor. And there's, like, look at my guy. My guy had second row tickets, and he didn't even bother to go up there. I saw somebody the other day put something up too. They said something about about that the organization doesn't care enough about the product, that they care more about the superficial things. And he wrote, this is what he wrote: suffering Flyers fans, this is an abomination. Sell the team. Major changes are needed from top to bottom. 47 years without a cup. Flyers response: what can we do to make Gritty more captivating to people? 11th straight loss, and he says, I hope no one goes to games the rest of the year. I mean, well,
I got to tell you, I took my daughter to the game.
Blaming ownership.
The Kraken game that we went to, I took my daughter. There was a lot of stuff for the kids to do. It was really family friendly. The atmosphere was great. The lights, the fire, all the spectacle stuff. Sure. But guess what? You got to win, baby.
Yeah, you absolutely have to win. And, full disclosure, did you pay for those tickets?
No.
Yeah, that's the key.
No.
Had you paid for them?
No. My buddy Dominic Mariani gave to me.
Did you look at what the face value was on them?
No, I didn't.
Right, probably $115 or $120 or something like that, right?
And of course, who's texting me left and right and just giving it to me
about the Flyers.
The Flyers
is
Craig Berube.
Oh, as he should.
Oh, he's hammering me, man. Oh, you know what? And guess what? Chief's got you know what? Look, it's so funny how the coaching door, a revolving door. Yao's now our head coach.
Mike Yao, yeah.
Right, Yao or whatever. Because he got canned by the St. Louis Blues, and then Chief comes in and wins the cup.
Right. The Blues are in good shape. They're in third in the Central, and overall in the West, they're doing pretty good.
But you know what? I'll tell you what. I bet you he still tweaked that he got fired from, and Ron Hextall.
You don't forget things like that.
I don't care. He downplayed it to me all these times. Hey, it's part of the business. But guess what? You can see his true colors right now. It still sticks in his craw.
They're third overall. The Blues are in the Western Conference. They're one of the top teams in the whole conference.
But he is hammering me though,
as he should be,
and rightly so. All right. So that's our hockey portion of it.
Yeah.
I just the effort, Pete. That's the one thing that we take away from
compete level.
The compete level, man.
By the way, do you see in preview who's going to come on the other side? He's got that looks like Niall Kinnick Stadium behind him.
I know. I can't see that, but the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, from the shore to center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli midsize sedan and the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the main line, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the main line, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at Maserati, the main line, today at 484-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. When we return, we'll talk with former Eagles linebacker and our co-host, Brad Quast. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
The divisional round of the NFL playoffs finishes with a Sunday doubleheader. Hi, this is Scott.
You can only imagine. And if you're stuck in a lease, Bennett can help. So whatever your needs or whatever you choose, at Bennett you'll always get more, because nobody beats Bennett Chevy. Egg Harbor Township and BennettChevy.com.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson. Now let's turn our attention to the NFL playoffs, because there were a couple of great games yesterday. The Cincinnati game was and Titans was a really entertaining game. And you know what, Joe Burrow, you know what he looks like? Macaulay Culkin.
It looks like a winner to me.
He's cool. He's got it going on. I know Quast loves him. So let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and welcome into the locker room our resident NFL player, Brad Quast. What's up, Q, man?
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Hey, Q, I got to tell you, man, Macaulay doesn't Burrow look like Macaulay Culkin?
Yes, he does. He does.
But with those glasses, Q, like he's like Joe Cool.
Yeah, he is. Listen, all he does is win, and he's just. I think the players around him play better. He just gets that out of you. I mean, he commands the huddle. I think he comes in and they just play. They're just better players for that. So that's why you draft a kid in the first.
Q, here's the one thing that I took away from that game last night. My man got sacked 9 times, but he stood in the pocket and he didn't get happy feet and try to break out of there. And he took some shots, and his teammates see that. And that equals he's a tough kid.
Yeah, he's a tough kid, and if you notice too, if you watch him closely, he doesn't he doesn't go after the lineman or kind of point fingers. He's not going after them and humiliate them like some quarterbacks in the league do after they get sacked.
Now, Q, were you surprised? Like Tannehill, man, he throws 3 interceptions. He made a couple dumb plays. Tennessee, their running game. I mean, Henry and the other running back. I forget the guy's name, but he broke off a couple nice long runs.
Henry and the other guy.
No, help me out, Pete. I'm having a senior moment.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Right. The other guy's name is Dante Foreman. Is
right?
That who you're talking about?
Yeah. And so their running game was good, but Tannehill, he made a couple big mistakes and it cost him.
He did, and that's unlike him. He's managed the game. That's what they brought him there for, and that's what he's really good at. He's not going to light the world on fire by his arm, but he's going to manage the game properly and hand the ball off to Derrick Henry 25 to 30 times a game, and that's how you win games and play good defense. And unfortunately, he didn't do that yesterday.
Now, Pete, yesterday, Q man hooked us up with Kajana Carter.
Nice.
And we were pulling for him. You and I, Brad, we wanted Cincinnati to win that game yesterday because we were rooting for the underdog.
Yeah, and actually, Kajana was a great guest, and me and Billy were going through it. First overall pick in 2005. I mean, number 1 pick.
Out of Penn State. I remember.
Yeah, out of Penn State. And so we were texting back and forth during the game, and I appreciate, he goes, tell Billy to thank you for having us on his show and everything. But I was happy to see them win. It was fun.
I got another reason to root for the Bengals, Q, and not just to see like the top position people go out, but their coach, Zach Taylor, was a quarterback for the University of Nebraska. He played quarterback for the Cornhuskers.
Go Cornhuskers. Tom Osborne.
Yeah. Now, did you see what the Tennessee Titans, Nashville, the city of Nashville, they were making it difficult for did you see the prices for hotel rooms and the tickets?
They jacked it up?
Yeah, because Cincinnati's only like 400 miles or like
supply chain
4 hours drive, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. The scam continues. The scam continues with this crazy environment we're in.
Yeah, but it's like it's like anything else when like having the visiting team coming into your building, especially during a playoff game. I like the fact that they were trying to make it tough for him, but guess what? The Bengals fans showed up.
Yeah, they did. It was nice to see. I'm really happy for him with the organization.
Let me ask you this, Quast: are the Titans now the new Buffalo Bills? Do you realize that that's their 25th season since they left being the Houston Oilers. That's their 25th season now in Tennessee, and it's their 3rd straight loss on their own field as the number 1 seed. They haven't won a playoff game at home since January of 2003. Like, talk about always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Well, we can say that they're the new Buffalo Bills. I mean, maybe so. And Rabel, he'll get that turned around. He's such a good coach, and he's got some support from the management. So I think they'll get, but at least they're there participating. So they got a shot. And I think they just need to make a couple tweaks offensively, and they should be fine.
They called that one Four Falls of Buffalo. Remember, did you ever see that documentary? Four Falls? It's so good, where it just talks about how the Bills kept getting there and losing and getting there and losing. I guess we're going to call this like Blow Up on Beale Street or something like that. I don't know what the documentary is going to be called.
We're talking with Brad Quast, former linebacker, Eagles linebacker. Of course, he's our co-host. And Q-Man, the nightcap. I thought, I got kind of bored a little bit with it. at the low-scoring game, the freezing cold, Lambeau Field,
the frozen tundra,
snow blowing and everything, and I was surprised at that outcome. Did we see Aaron Rodgers play his last game in Green Bay?
I don't know. I was texting a friend of mine back and forth. He might be. Oh, really? I mean, he's just disappointed. Maybe he needs a new change for that last contract. So this might be the last we saw him in Lambeau.
And of course, Pete informed me, and I wasn't aware of the fact that he's never beat the 49ers in the playoffs. I'm shocked at that.
Really?
Yeah.
That is shocking. That is shocking. They got the best of them. But I'm really happy for Jimmy G and Shanahan, what they did, the Niners did.
I'm not a Garoppolo fan. I'm not a Garoppolo fan. Are you guys Garoppolo fans?
Yeah, no, obviously they're not a fan of him either, or they wouldn't have drafted the quarterback in the first round.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's still getting the job done. I'll tell you this, guys. This is the first time since 2010 both number one seeds went out in the divisional round in the same season. Green Bay won at Atlanta that year, and the Jets won at New England that season. But the fact that the Bengals went on the road to beat Tennessee and knock out that number one seed, and then the fact that the Niners went in, I mean, I thought that was an impressive win in the snow, in the poor weather. I mean, if you watch that game, and Billy said he sort of checked out, but Quast, I'm sure you were watching, right? I mean, they had guys left and right. Debo Samuel gets banged. That was
in the play in that environment. It's tough, and I give them a lot of credit to going there and winning and beating Green Bay in their backyard.
As a linebacker that loved to hit, how about they hit on Debo Samuel close to the goal line, and then he basically, I thought he broke a rib or something. I mean,
I think he probably did. He got probably the wind knocked out of him, broke a rib, and he looked dazed. I mean, that was a big time collision.
All right, let's look at today's games. We got the LA Rams at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course Tom Brady at 45, still bringing it. Tampa Bay's banged up. They've got some people out, but it's Tom Brady, man. And if you're in the locker room and you're suiting up next to the GOAT, this is your opportunity, man. You got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, here's how the Rams beat them. I think they bring pressure up the middle with obviously the best inside tackle in the game with Donald, and then they basically get tight coverage on their receivers and kind of bump them and disrupt them. And that's the only way you're going to beat Tom Brady and get him out of his rhythm. So I think their defensive scheme and the personnel they have, the Rams, is capable of doing that. So I'm curious to see. It should be a good game, but never count the GOAT out of anything, out of any game.
And how about Bruce Arians getting fined $50,000 for slapping the helmet of one of his players? I mean,
somewhere Woody Hayes is laughing. That got a fine.
The union, the NFL Association has become very strong these days, and for him to get fined like that shows you kind of the relationship they have with players and management and owners.
Hey, Quas, we didn't have a chance to talk, but about the way the Eagles game broke down last week. Were you okay with the fact that the Eagles won the toss and then gave the ball to Brady, or do you want it the other way? Would you have liked to have seen them take the football?
That's a good point, Pete. I would have liked to have them get the football, but I think the trend these days are, kick the ball off, play good on special teams, stop them, and then flip the field. Their philosophy is trying to flip the field. But I would have liked to, force either a field goal or a touchdown and have Brady come from behind. Because once Brady gets a lead, he just gets that momentum, and then it was forget about it. It was lights out, and then they just rolled.
So for me, guys, I think the big one in this early game today with the Rams and the Bucs is, the Bucs offensive line. Whitworth got injured on the first play of the Rams playoff win on that side of the line. For the Bucs, it was Wirfs with his ankle, and then Jensen ankle. They got hurt,
center,
right?
Yeah.
And then the backup tackle Wells. When Ryan Kerrigan is having a huge game, your O line is banged up. So that's the big matchup I'm going to be watching. Is Aaron Donald and Von Miller, are they getting home consistently? Because nobody really seems to get to Brady, although the Eagles did for 4 sacks. But are they able to disrupt Brady today enough to make a difference.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of personnel groupings. You're gonna see a lot of 22 personnel groupings and 12 for that reason. They're gonna have to keep that extra running back in or that tight end in to block and double team the Rams defensive line. So they're gonna have to do some things differently to compensate for the injuries on the front line. So I'm sure they figured that one out. Bruce Arians is fabulous, and Brady, but they are going to have to, their line protection is going to change, and they're just not going to be able to run deep routes against these guys. They're going to have to be a lot of drop downs, and you're going to see Gronk. Gronk's going to have a big game today.
And then, of course, the second game today, Buffalo at the Kansas City Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen going at it. I feel bad for Buffalo. They're in a tough spot because Kansas City with Mahomes and Andy Reid, and they're at home, and they've been there before. I think the Chiefs going to win this game tonight.
Yeah, so the Chiefs is kind of funny. Everyone's kind of like counting them. They were kind of quiet, and Patrick was just kind of doing his thing and not having a typical MVP year. And all of a sudden, it's kind of the tortoise in the hare, just slowly, methodically working through, beating all these teams that were, that they played.
The cream rises to the top, Q.
Yeah, exactly. And Andy's such a good coach, and that's how he preached and goes, guys, listen, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and they're relatively healthy offensively, defensively on both sides of the ball. And Patrick's the best. I mean, he's like a magician out there. But look at Josh Allen, man. He can get out of he can run. He's had that ability to just make plays happen, man.
303 yards rushing in 5 playoff games.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, you guys, I'm getting peppered by one of our great advertisers, Michael Pileggi. He's saying that he wants Aaron Rodgers in an Eagles uniform.
Ooh. Wouldn't that be good?
What do you think, Pete? Michael Pileggi says, I'll take Rodgers. I want Rodgers on his team.
At what price? Like, at what cost is really the question.
I don't think they have enough money in the cap to sign him.
Yeah. Would he be interested in coming to Philadelphia?
Oh.
He's got one more year left in his contract, by the way, where he's supposed to be paid $26.9 million.
Okay.
FYI.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would be a tough fit.
Yeah, it'd be a tough fit financially. But that'd be interesting. That would be interesting.
Look at the quarterbacks that are left. I mean, tonight you got Stafford, Brady, Josh Allen, and Mahomes. It comes down to the quarterback position, Q.
It always does.
Were we talking about Stafford when he was in Detroit?
No.
So it's the coaching quarterback relationship and then the parts around him. Now Stafford we're talking about as a franchise guy.
All right, one last question for you, Q, concerning the Eagles. Who was the biggest loss the Eagles had this year? Like, was Brandon Graham, Brooks? Like what was the biggest loss for the Eagles this year?
When you say loss, meaning that
like in personnel.
Yeah, Graham hurt him because Brandon Graham, because it exposed how bad their linebackers play was.
Right.
So Brandon Graham, that loss hurts because you have to do different things to block him, and you have to roll protection that way, and therefore then it helps out your D tackle on the other side, and then your linebackers. So I think that was a domino effect on the defense.
And not only that, he's got Pete. He's got that personality, Brandon Graham. That he's like a leader vocally, and you know what I mean.
And in the locker room,
he's got it.
It hurts. That hurts.
Yeah,
and off the field.
I think that was a big loss for them this year.
By the way, I just squeeze this in before we say goodbye to Brad. Buffalo has lost 8 straight playoff games away from home, including the Super Bowl loss at the Rose Bowl and the Georgia Dome. Those are Super Bowl losses. Their last playoff win away from home over Miami, 29-10, AFC Championship game, 1993.
Ooh.
They haven't won a playoff road game since 1993.
Jim Kelly was the quarterback.
Correct.
Yeah, Jim Kelly.
So here's the question. Allen's got to step. So here, if we'll talk about a franchise quarterback. He's got all the tools in the world. He's got to step up today when he goes to Arrowhead.
I agree.
He's got to step up. If he's going to be that guy, the new generation quarterback, and he's got all the tools in the world. He can sling the ball. He can run. He got everything. He's got to step up today and lead that team to a victory.
Yeah, but he goes against Patrick Mahomes and
Patrick
Travis
Mahomes.
Kelce. You know what I mean? Those guys. It's going to be a great game.
I realize the Bills have the number 1 overall defense, number 1 against the pass, number 1 in scoring. I mean, the Bills D is legit and for real.
They're legit. They've done it. He's done a nice job with that team.
All right, Q, man, who do you like in game 1?
What's the number?
So what? 2, I guess. Or no. 2, 3.
The spread is 3. Buccaneers by 3.
Listen, I love Brady, and I think they're going to play some good defense. So I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And then the Chiefs are giving the Bills 2.
I like the Chiefs.
All right.
So
going with the home dogs.
I'm going home.
Didn't work yesterday. Maybe it'll work today.
I'm going for it. You're absolutely right, Pete. It didn't work yesterday.
All right,
you look great there, buddy. Good to see you.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, hey, listen, my background, Pete.
Yeah,
I love it.
I knew right away, Billy. I looked at that, even in the little preview monitor. I'm like, that is Niall Kinnick Stadium.
Niall Kinnick Stadium.
Yeah. You got helicopters in the background.
If he leans back, you can see the 4 Hueys. Yeah,
the biggest taxpayers wasting money ever. Flyover for every NFL game.
All right, there he is.
Right,
Brad
guys,
Claus. We'll see you next Saturday.
Brad. Take care, bud.
The Q man on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and he's always bringing it. Q's got he's exciting.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love listening to him, and I'm telling you, Billy, when I was digging into some of these stats, first of all, no matter who wins, Bills, Chiefs, the winner gets to host Cincinnati.
That's right.
Right? The Chiefs have won 5 straight playoff games at Arrowhead Stadium. That's the longest current streak in the NFL. And they're trying to reach the AFC title game for the 4th straight years. That matches up with the Raiders 73-77, Bills 90-93, and Patriots 16-18, who have had that many in a row. But I mean, I'm telling you, the more I look at this, the Bills D is legit. So we'll see what happens. And that's the 6:30 game. Great day of football.
All right. The first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. From the shortest center city and every place in between, Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine, run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. But were you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here. We'll read some text messages. Pete Thompson, Billy Schwein, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Coming up on the next edition of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Hey, it's Mike Gill coming up. Moving and Storage in Rio Grande for your next local or long-distance move. Visit Clark's Moving and Storage online at clarksmoving.net.
Creamy nut butter makes it delightfully sweet. Roasted nuts make it perfectly salty. Get 2 great tastes in one delicious bar. Enjoy a Nature Valley sweet and salty nut bar today.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Sunday morning, Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson. PT, as always, we have the text board is always available, 609-403-0973 to make a comment. What do we got, Pete?
Well, let's start first with Joey D. Joey's a good texter to the show. Hey, guys, it's strange not having an Eagles game to talk about, but the future is bright. If we do the draft right, maybe get a couple of decent free agents. Now, listen, as far as the Flyers, he says, let's stop this figure skating and go back to old-time hockey,
Come on, drop the gloves there, kid.
Old-time hockey, eh?
Oh, come on.
And because we were talking Flyers early, we did have a lot of Flyers texts that came in. Dan from EHG said, don't worry, fellas, the Philadelphia Stars are coming back in the spring. That was funny about no Eagles in, USFL. And then we also got a text about Flyers that said 1972 to 77, the Broad Street Bullies.
Yeah, man.
2021-22, the Broad Street Wussies.
Wow. And you know what? I feel his frustration, his pain, man. It's embarrassing.
Me too. Keep those texts coming. 609-403-0973. 609-403-0973.
Hour 2, we're going to talk with, we'll play some clips from Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman.
Yep, they kind of go back and forth
and
there.
We'll comment on that. And then we'll talk to the fantasy football guru, Brian Hartley, get his take on the Eagles season and this year in fantasy football. All that and more in the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Bennett Chevy says, we want your vehicle, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth.
Our sports 97.3 ESPN WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station.
Red 83.
Welcome to the Locker Room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the Locker Room.
I can smell it already, Billy. Buddy.
Von Hayes, welcome to the Locker Room with Billy Schwein.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the Locker Room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the Locker Room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Let me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schwein.
All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson. Sunday. NFL
feels
Sunday.
great, buddy. Feels great to see you back on the other side of the board and not laying on the couch hacking up a lung. Although you are coughing a little bit here.
Yeah, it's something you're going to have to deal with here.
You're not fully all the way through, but that's all right. You're no longer contagious, so that's good, too.
All right, so, PT, let's open up that text board, 609-403-0973. People want to make some comments, participate in the show. We love having it. 609-403-0973. PT, the Eagles had during the week, Howie Roseman, Sirianni met with the media, and we're going to play some clips from that.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you expect? It's these press conferences you're not getting the truth, right?
Well, not necessarily, although
Are we just looking for the way they react to the questions?
Yes, and you just want to hear, like, I saw one great article. I think it was Martin Frank that wrote it, right? I saw one great article after this press conference that basically said the Eagles said all the right things. The only thing that should have been added to each answer was the words "for right now."
Right.
For right now. In other words, like, they're answering these things, and right off the bat, the very first question is from Reuben Frank from NBC Sports Philadelphia, and he asks about Jalen Hurts, and that comes up in a couple different equations there. They talk about the draft picks. They talk about Jalen Hurts, and is he the quarterback of the future moving forward?
Right.
And again, because we're hearing this from, and we're getting this from the Eagles, you'll hear, I think it's Allie Waddington is the Eagles employee who sort of is like the moderator, and she'll kick it out. So you're hearing two voices. You're hearing Howie and you're hearing Sirianni. But
all right, but I want to comment on this. So obviously he had Roseman and Sirianni. And by the way, see that awkward fist bump when he that was kind of like a weird.
What, between the two of them?
Yeah, thanks, Coach. You did a great job. Thanks.
They do that sometimes when they both sit down together to sort of do like the double press conference.
It was awkward, though, wasn't it?
I don't know. Mike Carlin and I had a fist bump last week when you weren't here, and I
That's
thought
because you guys went to the same high school.
I thought it was nice. Yeah, man. That was some PW pride.
But here's what Roseman says. He goes, "It's our job to listen to everything and see if there are ways to improve our team." That is the essence of. I mean, enough said, because that's a true statement right there.
Very much so. And I mean, there's a lot in flux. We know what the draft picks are now, right? You know
15, 16, and 19.
That is correct. And there were a lot of people at one point, you also know who the free agents are too. They got 15 from Miami, 16 from Indianapolis, and their own 19th. Derek Barnett is a free agent. Steve Nelson is a free agent. Rodney McLeod is a free agent. And they'll have about $14 million in cap space. So yeah, that's like the big question is, what are they going to do with this draft capital? Who's going to be here and who's leaving? That's
and so
when
I asked Q about what was the biggest loss for the Eagles this season, Brandon Graham by far and away. By far and away. And Roseman was candid about that too as well. So let's go ahead and play some of the clip from the press conference this week.
All right, here we go.
You and I will agree that Hurts regressed. He took a big step backwards in the playoff game.
Oh, very much so.
He didn't read his progression reads.
Right. He held onto the ball too long. He threw the interception.
Goddard was why there was like three or four people that were Goddard, Devontae Smith on a few
Goddard
occasions.
had a ball go through his hands.
I know, but he was...
And scheme I had a problem with of why they weren't throwing to Devontae Smith. I mean, I don't know how you wait that long. Look, Todd Bowles plays at cover 3, Billy, and I don't understand how they just kept trying to run the football up against an 8-man front and not realize all you had to do, Casey Joyner always calls it dink and dunk, all you had to do was dink and dunk your way down, throw the little 7-yard outs, throw the 8-yard outs, throw it to the sticks in the sideline, and they didn't target Devontae Smith until late second quarter, maybe third quarter.
All right, so Reuben Frank says to him, he says, is that a yes? And Roseman comes out and just says, yes, one-word answer.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, continue.
Yes, there it is right there. Jimmy Kempski.
All right, so Pete, the pretty honest and I thought candid answer.
Yeah, very much so. And look, I mean, that's the big question right now is, are they going to package a draft pick or, and they say, oh yeah, we're comfortable with him going forward in the future. But at the same time, that's why Jimmy's saying if the right player is available at the right cost, are you willing to make that kind of move? That might not be possible. I mean, it's very rare that you're going to have 3 first-round picks.
So, but talking between the lines, then is he's talking about Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers? What are we talking there?
Russell Wilson, Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson are probably the 2 big names.
Yeah, but
foremost.
Deshaun Watson
and then Aaron
Rodgers. They still haven't figured out what's going on.
100%. There's an entire possibility that Deshaun Watson's legal issues may cause him to miss another NFL season. So
right.
I mean, nothing is a given. But listen, that's why the reporters ask these questions. Now they pivot a little bit and they start to talk about, and I love that they're getting Howie on this. They start to talk a little bit about the fact that, like, hey, Justin Jefferson's pretty damn good. And the guy that dropped the football, that really changed the game, by the way. I was screaming at the TV when this guy on special teams dropped the punt, and that's Jalen Reagor. All right, here's Jalen Reagor. They get asked about Jalen Reagor right here.
Now, see, I think that he dodged that one.
I think he dodged it a little bit, but I will say this, when I think about Jalen Reagor, and trust me, I'm the first guy that wanted to drive into the airport. I was so pissed last week.
I still do.
I wanted him to not even be able to take the team plane home. Like just give him a ticket and just say, see you later, dude. Nice knowing you. But I think back to a certain receiver, and his name is Nelson Aguilar. Right now, Nelson Aguilar, he was vilified. He was crucified in Philadelphia, right? Now he's a capable and competent NFL receiver, with the Raiders, right? And,
No,
and then now with the
Patriots.
But I mean, the places that he went, that's my point is there's certain people I think that just aren't fit to play in Philadelphia. Ginger Jesus was one of them, the guy that was the quarterback before Jalen Hurts, right? Carson Wentz couldn't handle it. There's certain people that just can't. So I think the only thing, and this is so Delaware Valley, Philadelphia in this comment I'm about to make, but the only thing that would piss me off more about Jalen Reagor and how short he's come up each and every time for the Eagles is if they basically kick his butt out the door and then he goes and he has good seasons somewhere else.
I don't see that happening.
That would drive me crazy.
I don't see that happening. I don't think Jalen Reagor is an NFL. He's not even a 3.
Yeah. I mean, there's no question. I mean, the fact that you're sort of customizing what packages he can be in. And then I had told you after the Dallas game, the meaningless Dallas game, you called it. I had said to you, I would like to see Huntley return kicks. I saw enough out of Huntley. I wanted to see him in there returning kicks. He wasn't returning kicks. And what happened? Reagor left the ball on the ground, changed the whole game.
I just was so infuriating when he dropped the ball. All right, we're going to be
we got more of this. We can get back to it later.
We'll get back to it. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You want to send us a message, participate in the show here. Of course, we're going to be talking with the fantasy football guru, Brian Hartley, here in a few minutes. I want to remind people the second hour of the Locker Room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, or experience lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information on how to become a member, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. When you get down there, say hello to Radio Ron Ralston for us. They do a great job. Hey, My Winter Watchdog. Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know, those worrisome thoughts that creep into your mind every time you hear of a storm coming, and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house, hours of time on the road. Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869, or send Debbie an email, Debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. And I want to remind people, Giuseppe Randazzo's in Ocean City, looking for an experienced pizza man. Great compensation package. Give Joe Pop a call, 609-814-1600. Tell him I sent you to the Locker Room. Call Giuseppe Randazzo today. When we return, we'll talk with the fantasy football guru, Brian Hartley. You're listening to the Locker Room with Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson on 97.3 ESPN.
Coming up on the next edition of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill.
Hey, it's Mike Gill coming up on Monday.
odds across the country? If so, you need to check out Philly Sports Trips. Join your fellow Philly sports fans and book your trip with Philly Sports Trips to cheer on the Birds this spring at the 2022 NFL Draft in Las Vegas, where the Birds have 3 first-round selections. They have everything covered. Airfare from Philadelphia, great hotel on the Strip, draft night party, group events, and more. To check out how to travel with the pros at Philly Sports Trips, check out phillysportstrips.com/trips/Vegas Draft.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Billy Schwein, Pete Thompson. You know, PT, my fantasy football guru, Brian Hartley, is more than just the guru.
He's not just the guru. He's also a friend.
He's also our friend, but he's knowledgeable about football. And, you know, we break each other's stones, but I really value his opinion on football and like having him on this segment. I know there's not too much fantasy football going on right now. I think there's day leagues, I guess, right?
Maybe some daily. I mean, there's only 2 games or 4 games this weekend.
Right. So,
oh no, you know what it is? It's the playoff stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like your survivor type thing. In fact, I talked to him about this a little bit last week.
Right.
Each one had a different format.
All right. So without any further ado, let's go to the Maserati, the main line sports hotline, and welcome in my fantasy football guru, Brian Hartley, brought to you by Stell Exteriors. They've been providing professional roofing and siding at affordable prices since 1996. Did you know that only 2% of roofing contractors qualify as a GAF Master Elite installer? So if you do the math, choosing Stell Exteriors takes 98% of the worry out. That's Stell Exteriors, 636 West Avenue in Ocean City, New Jersey. Give them a call at 609-399-1010, 609-399-1010. Now let's welcome into the locker room my fantasy football guru and yours, Brian Hartley. What's up, guru?
Good morning, Billy. I just want you to know I recorded that you actually value my opinion. I needed to record that so that I have that for some point in the future.
Well, see, the reason why I said that is because I want you to record that for when I go for my raise in the parking lot this year.
Remember, Billy, you always take the keys for the valet. Don't forget to take the keys.
All right, Guru, talk to us about fantasy football. What's going on in the fantasy world? Because I'm out. Most leagues are done. So what's going on in the world of fantasy football?
Yeah, well, after yesterday, I'm out too. You know, I had Tennessee and I had Green Bay winning, and my gosh, they couldn't have been more stressful games for me to watch. Really, no fantasy value, even if they did go for it. There was really no scoring in those games for fantasy players to speak of. Really. Just shocking yesterday, really. And that just shows how great the NFL is, that right now all these teams are so even that any team can really go out and win any day. Cincinnati is exciting to watch. I mean, they've got great young talent, and man, they're just a fun team to watch. And San Francisco, it's kind of old smash mouth football. You know, they're playing unbelievable defense. You know, they come into the playoffs with sketchy special teams, and they're talking about just not losing games on special teams, and they go out and they block a field goal, they block a punt and score a touchdown. You know, they win a game against the number 1 seed without scoring an offensive touchdown.
Right. That's
incredible. Incredible. And then you got 2 great games today. I mean, that Kansas City Buffalo game tonight could end up being 52-49 at the end of that game. You know, who knows what's going to happen in that game. And then you got another great game with Tampa Bay and the LA Rams. It's just unbelievable to watch some of these games, and you never know. It just goes to show you.
And you know what, Guru? Like yesterday when we talked to the sports book consigliere, I mean, when everybody was like the one game that was pretty much everybody thought was going to the Packers were the shoe-in to go to show you the parity, and anything can happen in the NFL.
I agree. I mean, they moved the ball up and down. I mean, at one point Garoppolo was 0 for 4. They had no first downs, and Green Bay was at least moving the ball. They weren't getting points, but they seemed like they were moving the ball up and down the field. And then all of a sudden, it's just that San Francisco defense, the bend don't break mentality. And they did just enough to win the game. They come up with the 2 big plays to, limit the points at the end of the first half. And then the huge block punt. It just incredible to go into Green Bay, looking at that weather and everything else, to come out with a victory like that. It's, hey, maybe it's destiny. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
We're talking with the fantasy football guru, Brian Hartley. Of course, Brian's been with us all season long. We really appreciate your segment and your insight with football. Let's talk about the quarterback position, because all the games this weekend, every one of the quarterbacks are, top notch quarterbacks. Today we got Mahomes and Allen, and then we have Brady and Stafford. I mean, how exciting is that?
It's extremely exciting, but I want you to think of the flip side. We'll get back to that, but think about this. Yesterday, you had Burrow, Tannehill, Aaron Rodgers, and Garoppolo. One passing touchdown between those four quarterbacks yesterday. One. And then you go in today with those quarterbacks. Allen and Mahomes had 10 between them last week. So, Brady, it's going to be so much fun to watch these games today. And honestly, the Tampa Bay LA game, I mean, is anybody going to beat San Francisco, even if they win that game? I don't know the way they're playing. But I'm excited to watch it. Tampa Bay gets Fournette back today. Brady always seems to do enough to win these games. And, hey, they don't have to go to Green Bay now. The winner of that game will have a home game in the NFC Championship. And then, like we talked about, the Buffalo-Kansas City game has the potential to just be this unbelievable back and forth, very little defense, just high-scoring affair. And I'm kind of looking forward to that. I kind of want to see this.
Well, the over and under is 54. I mean, the over and under is 54.
I think it's too low. I think it's way too low. I think that thing should be right around 70, 75, maybe, because that's the kind of game I think it's going to be today.
Hartley, we didn't get to talk after the game. Brian Hartley with us on the Maserati of the Mainline hotline. He's our fantasy guru, brought to you by Stell Exteriors. We didn't talk after the game whether or not you agreed. I think we talked last week leading up to the Eagles playoff game against the Bucs. If the Eagles won the toss, should they take the ball? And what did you feel about that? Because now that the game's over and in the books, I mean, odds are, right, based on how the Eagles offense looked, that they would have taken the ball and gone 3 and out, even if they did choose, like they won the toss and took the ball. But I had a problem with them deferring.
Yeah, I think when you're on the road and you're the underdog, it's really a tough decision. Me personally, I probably would have taken the ball just to try to get some momentum going rather than giving the ball to Brady and, coming down the field and maybe playing from behind the entire game. But you know what? The Eagles they did not look good. They really struggled last week. And Tampa Bay was vulnerable. I mean, they were down, a lot of players. They ended up having a lot of in-game injuries to their offensive line. And, the Eagles, if they could have just done something, they had a chance to really be in that game. And I know a lot of people, if you didn't watch it, you'll look at the score and say, it wasn't that bad. It was ugly. Yeah. They never had a shot to win that game. And a lot of issues going in the offseason. We got a lot of guys that are older. We got to make a decision on Jalen Hurts. As much as they say he's the starting quarterback next year, there's a lot of guys out there at the quarterback position that could be moving on. Think of a guy like Aaron Rodgers. He's talked about moving on. They make a number 1 seed and they make an exit after the first game. They can't win a game at home. I think he leaves. I truly think he leaves. That team's got a lot of salary cap issues. You've got Deshaun Watson. You've got Russell Wilson. The Eagles aren't going after Wentz, but I think Wentz is on the market. A guy like Matt Ryan could be on the trading block. That team's in a rebuild. They need a lot of stuff. They could use the draft picks. Ryan's getting older. He could go to a team that is looking for a quarterback that thinks they're only a quarterback away, give up maybe a 1 first rounder or late or a 2nd round pick for someone like that, and could be a vast improvement. I don't know. I don't know what the Eagles do. They've got 3 first round draft picks. They have the ammo to move up if they've got like a guy like Pickett. Maybe they move up and try to make a move for someone like that, package 2 of those first round picks. But, Billy, we talked about at the beginning of the season, I don't think Hurts is the guy for the future for this team. You disagreed, and then obviously as the season went on, momentum built, he looked a little better. They were running the ball better. It looked more manageable. But then when we got to the playoffs, it's back to exactly what I feared it is, and I just can't.
Yeah, and you know what, Brian? I didn't want to be Brian. I didn't want to be that guy that was just like negative, not giving him a chance and not giving him the opportunity. Like that typical Philadelphia, he's not the guy. I wanted to give him a chance. And I think he was like a yo-yo. He's like, he performed well at times, other times he didn't. And then at the end, he regressed. I mean, he wasn't making the right reads on, his progressions. He's missing wide open receivers. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm skeptical now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of his games, when I look back at it, a lot of the games that he played fairly well were against poor teams.
Right.
They were against weaker the in division with the Giants and the Redskins. A lot of these opponents were just not very strong defensive teams. They didn't have to do a lot. You know, he just had to basically not turn the ball over. And at times he can run the ball. He can look great. He can look flashy. But he's not that guy, in my opinion, leading this franchise forward that's going to take us to the playoffs year after year and have a chance to compete for a Super Bowl. So that's just the way I feel.
And you know, another component to this is I was a little surprised at you would think that Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts would have a little bit better rapport, like connection, like he would hit him more. You know what I mean? They were teammates in Alabama.
You mean like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase?
Yeah, you know what I mean? It was almost like they never even played together.
Yeah, I mean, it's a problem. I mean, listen, it's just they've made some bad decisions with some of those draft picks. I mean, Rieger, geez, what do we do with him at this point, you know? But, I mean, you have at least Smith. You have Goddard at the tight end. You've got some running back depth there, which is always a good thing because obviously we saw this year guys go down, Sanders go down, Howard goes down. You know, these guys all get injured. But offensive line is where you really need to improve. And the quarterback position.
You got to get defensive line. I mean, Brandon Graham, losing him was a big loss.
Yeah, I mean, there's some talent in this draft coming up. Again, it's going to be interesting to see what the Eagles do. Do they package something together to try to get a quarterback, or do they stick with the 3 picks they have and really be able to plug some holes and get some young, cheaper guys because of the salary cap situation that will help out? But the Eagles do. They have some aging guys that are going to probably be leaving soon. And, you know, that's unfortunate, too, because you're just kind of you're trying to replace the guy that you already have instead of getting better, instead of having younger talent that's going to be there and now being to add something to that roster. That's the tricky part that they're in. You know, they're in a weaker division aside from Dallas. And, you know, those other teams are going to have some high draft picks too. But everybody's a quarterback. You know, they all need a quarterback in that division except for Dallas.
It's a quarterback league. All right. Hey, PT, let's keep you for one more segment next week. What do you think?
Well, I think, my schedule, I think, will permit it. I can handle
That'd be
that.
great. And by then we'll know who the 2 teams are. So, you know, who's advanced and who the 2 championship games are. So I'm okay with that.
Love having you, Guru. Thanks a lot, man. Have a great week and enjoy the games today.
That's great. I can go out to lunch now. I got another paycheck coming.
All right. There he is.
Take care, Hartley.
Brian Hartley, my fantasy football guru. On the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, the Fantasy Football Guru is brought to you by Stell Exteriors. They've been providing professional roofing and siding at affordable prices since 1996. Did you know that only 2% of roofing contractors qualify as a GAF Master Elite installer? So if you do the math, choosing Stell Exteriors takes 98% of the worry out. That's Stell Exteriors, 636 West Avenue in Ocean City, New Jersey. Give them a call anytime at 609-399-1010, 609-399-1010. Second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, or experience lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information on how to become a member, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati of the Mainline. Located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia, they offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations. I invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli mid-size sedan or the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the Mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the Mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at Maserati, the Mainline, today at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue. Hey, Pete, let's talk a little Sixers.
Yeah, why not?
You're listening to The Locker Room with Pete Thompson, Billy Schwein, right here on 97.3 ESPN and the mobile app.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow on 97.
again, streaming live on my YouTube channel, Locker Room Billy Schwein, and of course, my Facebook page, Billy Schwein.
You're everywhere.
I'm everywhere, Pete. All right, PT, man, the Sixers, they're the only bright spot we have right here in Philadelphia in this area?
Yeah, bright spot. And yet
Villanova won last yesterday.
Yeah, but bright spot, they blew the game the other night. Gill was up there. It's his
24-point lead at halftime.
Unbelievable. I mean, I didn't even watch, because they had such a big lead. I didn't watch the second half. And then, I saw the score, and I'm like, wait a minute, they lost?
Yeah,
102 to 101? What happened?
You know what always seems to me, like every time I watch, they lose. Every time I turn it off, they make a comeback.
But how about the reporter afterwards? That was the big thing. That would have been your question, right?
I
thought it was a fair question.
Well, here's the thing. You know what they were? I mean, let's face it. The Clippers. Anytime Joel Embiid got the ball, they were closing in on him. 3 players.
Yeah,
we're converging on him. And then you got to dish the ball out. You got to make shots.
Very much so. And
they dried up.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you what the question was. After the loss, Rivers was asked, what part of this loss would you attribute to coaching? And first he says, I don't know. And then he gets pissed and he looks up and he says, would you ask Pop that question? No, you wouldn't. So don't ask me that question. I've earned that. And he's talking about Popovich, but I mean, he was salty the rest of and he only had like a 5-minute press guy with 4 minutes and 46 seconds.
Nothing from after that. Doc Rivers hasn't won anything in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, he's won some things, but he was more known for choking than he was for winning. I mean, he did finally get over the hump, but look, that's his team lost to a Clippers squad that did not have Kawhi Leonard, that did not have Paul George, that had Joel Embiid with 40 and 13. Now, Sixers did not have Seth Curry. They didn't have Danny Green. They didn't have Matisse Thybulle. They didn't have Shake Milton, But, I mean, the fact that the Clippers had 2 of the top 15 players in the league out, and they lost 3 of their 4 and 6 of 9, and they gave up a 24-point lead. That's my problem with the Sixers this season is their defensive effort. They went down to D.C., Billy, on Martin Luther King Day on the 17th last week. They went down there and laid an egg, and they gave up double figures to 7 different players. I mean, as good as Embiid is, and he's having an MVP season, there's no question about it. As good as he is offensively and defensively, they don't really have a lot of defensive effort after Joel Embiid, and that's a problem.
At 26 and 19, 3 games behind Brooklyn in the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division. The thing is, they like the Flyers. They've got a lot of guys out, so we're not getting a true read on what this team can do. Now, yesterday on the program, we gave away a pair of Sixers tickets. Lawrence from Delaware won. He's going to be going to the Sacramento game on Saturday with a pair of T-shirts to go in style.
Oh, that's nice.
But a lot of speculation of maybe about a trade. Sources and this
for
is
Ben
reported,
Simmons.
Well, yeah, for Ben Simmons, Keith Pompey reported that the Sacramento has considered packaging Buddy Hield, Tyrese Halliburton, Harrison Barnes, and first 2-round picks for Simmons, Harris, and Matisse Thybulle. Here's the thing: I don't want to get rid of Thybulle.
No, but he's one of their best defenders. Like, I don't have a problem getting rid of Harris because, especially since
I'm tired of Harris.
Although Harris was probably one of their better players the other night too. By the way, I mean he had 3 steals, he blocked a shot, he had 20 points on 8 for 17 shooting, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. That's an above average NBA effort out of Tobias Harris. So good Tobias Harris is always a good thing for me. But I mean, listen, this Simmons thing, and then, Ramona Shelburne comes out with stories about, Simmons is willing to sit out the whole season. Come on, Ramona, why don't you just change your letterhead to I work for Rich Paul? I mean, so yeah, this report, it's Simmons, Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle for Buddy Hield, Halliburton, Harrison Barnes, and 2 first-round picks. I don't know.
So the hard part is matching all the money up. Like
you do in the NBA, you got to trade the monies.
Yeah,
yes,
it's the money, and that's obviously a lot of people.
This is a great line out of your guy, Marcus Hayes. Morey knows that he could trade Simmons right now for Fred VanVleet and 2/5 of Canadian Club. That's a whiskey, man. He could give him away for nothing, but he's trying to play the long game. And that says something too. Like the offers, or whether they're official or not, the names that have come out: Buddy Hield, DeMar DeRozan, CJ McCollum. I mean, there hasn't been like a big marquee name that's come out. And if you're just trying to get rid of a guy to get rid of a guy, oh, and in the last week too, remember, none less than journalistic excellence, TMZ caught up with Charles Barkley.
Yeah, did you see that? I saw it.
Who said you got to get rid of him. You know?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, and I said this at the beginning of this whole debacle with Ben Simmons. I wanted my pound of flesh. I want him to sit and stew and get fined, and because Morey obviously isn't going to give the store away. He wants equal value, but is that possible?
No, I don't think it is, and that's the point. Is that Ben Simmons is a unicorn? I mean, there aren't many players like him. There aren't players that and the problem is that Embiid's having this MVP season, but he needs a guy who can help him out on the defensive end and the rebounding end, not a guy that makes Embiid have to score more points and be a better defender. And any of the names that we've seen so far aren't really defending guys that are going to.
How about this for an intriguing thing? Because Keith Pompey reported on this last week that the Atlanta Hawks were considered sending Collins, I think Cam Reddish, and a first-round pick to the Sixers in exchange for Simmons and Harris. I like that.
That works for you?
Yeah, I mean. Yeah,
I think at the end of the day,
I don't think that would ever happen.
No, and I think I don't know if the money matches. I think at the end of the day, whenever this happens,
Harris is making $35.9 million.
And you also haven't addressed the one thing that's hanging out there is Morey also waiting so he can get to the offseason and try again to bring James Harden to Philadelphia? Is that something he's trying to do? Morey did go on a radio station and did a long interview and didn't really give up much. The only thing he did say, and this is a direct quote from Daryl Morey, this deal has to be the one, addresses our defense, which isn't playoff good enough, addresses our rebounding, which isn't playoff good enough, addresses our playmaking. It's important we improve our transition. If you trade one of these great players for multiple players, it does not move your championship odds enough to make a difference. You cannot do that across multiple players. They can't all play. And that's why when people are like, oh, just get this one big name and a handful of names, I mean, that's the thing.
Detroit Pistons, Cleveland Cavaliers, Boston Celtics are in the mix with some rumors flying around, but I don't see them doing anything with Boston.
I honestly, I don't know that they're going to do anything, period. I think they're just going to wait and hang on.
What's the scuttlebutt? I mean, I haven't – how much is he getting fined?
Oh, what are his fines up to?
Yeah, has that been disclosed? Because I haven't seen any numbers. You don't hear anybody talking about that aspect of what's going on with Ben Simmons.
I mean, and I'm looking here. This is at the it's going to exceed about $10 million. I mean, when it hit the $10 million part, when it hit the $10 million mark, a lot of people were reporting on that he's finally and $10 million and growing. I mean, and that's where
that can't sit well with Simmons, can it? I mean, he's
all
about the money. Show me the money,
right? Very much. Yeah, he's more about the playing basketball. Right? I mean, that's the craziest thing. On the 31st, which was the end of the year, he'd been fined 28 times, and all but one of them were for $306,305. That was an off-court, off-field violation. Right. Now it's for not cooperating with the team doctors and not participating in basketball-related operations. So, I mean, yeah, his fines are adding up, but he doesn't seem to care. I mean,
at some point it's going to reach a crescendo where he's going to have to, it's going to hit him. I mean, he's got, I'm sure he got a couple houses, right?
I mean, yeah, but Rich Paul is organizing this the way that he thinks that it has to work. Here, I'm looking at the fines. Like he just got fined on the 21st on Friday night, off-court, off-field violation, $360,305 for missing LA Clippers PHI game due to not cooperating with team doctors and not participating in basketball-related operations. So the last time that he's had anything that was different, that wasn't a $360 fine, was on October 19th. He got fined $227,000 for conduct detrimental to the team. So at that point, way back in October, they had a one-game fine for conduct detrimental. But from November 4th on, they just continue to keep hitting them with that 360,305 number over and over and over again.
And well, I know looks can be deceiving and everything, but Daryl Morey, the way he looked, does he look like what's a GM look like? But I mean, does he look like a basketball aficionado?
You got a problem because he doesn't have a razor?
No,
Is that what's bugging you?
I don't know. I don't know. He just kind of schleps around.
he's a great basketball
I guess
mind.
He must be,
right?
Right?
And I don't care that he wears like a Sixers t-shirt under a
No, I'm not.
I
don't know. Me, I'm all hype type of guy.
Right.
But,
what I care about is if he can bring a championship to Philadelphia, number one, and number two, don't waste Embiid's best years,
because that's what's going on right now, Pete.
I mean, I think the biggest thing too was that they did reveal that Simmons was pissed off when Morey first came to Philadelphia. He shopped Simmons to the Rockets for a deal that would have brought James Harden to Philadelphia.
Right.
And by doing that, and he didn't give Simmons or his camp a heads up, that was what initially pissed him off. And then the fact that, after he gagged, he says that Doc Rivers didn't endorse him as a point guard. Remember, Doc Rivers was asked that key question. Yeah. Can you see Ben as an NBA point guard moving forward? Is Ben an NBA point guard or a playoff NBA point guard for you? Or however the question was phrased, Doc Rivers was put on the spot. And at that point he said, honestly, I can't answer that, He's got
to get a thick skin.
But I think the other thing too
is the ship has sailed. He's got to go.
There's a lot of people too, Billy, that are like, well, why isn't Embiid frustrated that they haven't moved on, or why is Embiid okay with this? I think Embiid felt offended when he and other players were going to kind of go out.
Remember, they're going to fly out. Yeah, they're going to fly out to visit him.
And Simmons made it clear, don't even come out. And that's like, wait a second. This isn't management. This isn't a suit. This isn't like the owner or a GM. This is us. This is your brothers. And we're going to come out and have a discussion with you. You tell us not to come? Well, you're dead to me. You are dead to me.
All right. So Pete.
Yeah.
What have we learned today at the show? We've got Flyers stink. The Eagles are done.
Yeah.
And the Sixers are in flux.
Sixers do not look like a playoff. They certainly don't look like a championship team.
No.
And this is the point, Billy, where I normally would say pitchers and catchers report.
But we can't even do that.
They're in a damn lockout.
Oh, my gosh,
yeah,
Pete.
I don't mean to depress you anymore, but
come on, man.
I got a friend in Florida right now. Her son is umpiring the Phillies fantasy camp.
I saw that.
So he was all excited because he was seeing Larry Boa and Charlie Manuel.
Our boy Scott Ayers down there.
Oh, yeah?
I saw Scott.
Is he coaching?
Yeah.
Love Scott.
All right, the second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour, 58-minute round. Can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, or experience lively atmosphere in the pub. For more information on how to become a member, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always, always a great day at Great Bay. Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia tight end Ken Dunnick. Beware their private business network they call the Legacy Club. Every month they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and sees a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we'll wrap it up, Pete. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schwein and Pete Thompson on 97.3 ESPN.
The divisional round of the NFL playoffs finishes with a Sunday doubleheader.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
I'll be watching you, Pete.
I'll be watching you, Billy, on Facebook, on YouTube.
The trade deadline for the NBA is February 10th, Pete. Will we see any movement?
Maybe
from the Sixers. I mean, will this come to?
Well, more specifically, will you see Ben Simmons movement? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think so. I just don't think there's a package out there that's enough for him. And I mean, unless something crazy happens on the other end, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I really don't. I don't see them making a move.
Right. Hey, get down to Giuseppe Randazzo. If you're looking, he's looking for a pizza, experienced pizza man.
Okay.
All right. 609-814-1600. Joe Pop's a great guy. I had a nice cheesesteak down there yesterday.
Yeah. Rub
and
it in.
I also got the lobster bisque.
Ooh, that's your favorite soup?
I'm telling you, the best lobster bisque you'll ever have anywhere in America.
Is that Randazzo?
I'm telling you.
Well, it's
the best.
There you go.
You can't beat it.
All right, I found out a couple stats here on these two games tonight, right? And first of all, it's going to be an unbelievable night. Yesterday,
I'm going to put a fire in a fireplace when I get home.
Both the road teams won. Today, I feel like both the home teams are going to win, but that's just the way I'm leaning. You got Rams at Bucks, and then you've got at 3:00. That's on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, you can hear it all right here. And then 6:30 is Bills and Chiefs.
I kind of want. I love Tom. By the way, did you see Tom Brady when he was asked about not shaking Nick Foles' hands? That's smart. I'm a Tom Brady fan, but that rubbed me the wrong way.
He basically admitted that he wasn't even thinking about it, right?
Like he blew it off like it was like inconsequential.
Yeah, like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So dig this, okay? Josh Allen, who I love, by the way, he was my fantasy quarterback this year. He helped me to a playoff win in fantasy football and a championship win.
By the way, did you get paid yet?
I did in both leagues, but I was pissed off in the 97.3 league. Did you hear me talk about that?
I did. I sure did.
The difference between first and second was not equitable. No, Josh Allen's been unstoppable on the field. He's also been unstoppable with the coin toss, Billy. He's 8-0 calling the coin toss on the road when the visiting team captain calls it. And if you add in the overtime that they played the other week against Week 14 against the Buccaneers, he's really 9-0. So that's going to be Nance and Romo for that game. You've got, hey, is this the last game or one of the they have the Super Bowl. Yes. But is this one of the last games that Al Michaels will call on NBC? There's rumors that he's going to go to Amazon and call Thursday night football games.
Huh? That might be. All right, we got a double header here on 97.3.
Who do you like?
I like the Chiefs and I like the Bucks.
Chiefs and Bucks, so you went home teams as well.
Yeah.
All right, that's the way I'm going. But I'd be okay if the Bills won.
97.3 ESPN has a doubleheader, Rams and Bucks, Bills and Chiefs. Coverage starts at 2:30. Thanks for making the locker room part of your Sunday, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner. Enjoy your football Sunday and the Sixers tonight. See you next week, everybody.
Bennett Chevy says, we want your vehicle, even if you owe thousands